While standing at the G with my dominance asserting door, someone traded me a fish to take care of. Of course, someone dropped a bunch more of these fish, so now that fish has many friends, which I will do my best to look after and give a good home to. But that's not the point of today's episode. Today's episode, I am convincing players to join the cult of Brassard Prime. First, I had to find an outfit. I wanted something that was very culty, and people would see and think, yeah, I should believe this person. I should follow in their teachings. So I lost the hood and went with a much gentler, sort of flowery crown. And then while I was standing in the bank deciding on an outfit, this random stranger just showed up and tried to kill me. But after standing next to them for a while, I realized they weren't trying to kill me. They were just misunderstood, much like Brassard Prime. And although I took out a god sword to try and smack the shit out of it, I wasn't able to. It was time to find the first recruit to join the Brassard Prime cult. I tried talking to woodcutters, to no avail, they didn't respond. I went to Ardone, and this is where I found my first potential recruit. They were a noble thief, stealing from this shitty baker, charging way too much for his prices. I thought this is the perfect person. I will hit them with a big question. How do you think the universe is created? They think I'm asking the wrong lady. But can something be created from nothing? The classic cult question. You want to get into their heads. You want to get them thinking deeply. You want to get them in a pliable state. These are important questions. You want to ask them questions that lead back to the answer, there is definitely something that created this universe, and we know who it was, because of first-hand documentary evidence. I liked their response, a lonely virgin, and they were a lonely virgin. We have documented first-hand accounts of people who spoke with Brassard Prime, the lonely virgin. Brassard Prime, of course, tells us we will be rewarded upon death. All we need to do is take time to savor the flavor of life. And is this something you're willing to do? They said, nah, I prefer napping. I needed to be a bit more convincing. But if you accept Brassard Prime, you will be rewarded. They went straight to with GP. I said, with riches beyond your imagination. This tempted them. I wanted to convince them I was concerned about their immortal soul and only want what's best for them. They wanted me to worry about my own, but Brassard Prime teaches us to be mindful of others. They've said this is possibly the weirdest conversation they've ever had, although it is an important conversation nonetheless. They found that debatable, and I would debate. But after all they've heard, were they willing to accept Brassard Prime as their Lord and Saviour? They said sure, and of course it was time for Brassard to reward them, through me as a vessel. A tidy 420k, deliciousness be with you. On to the next person to join the Brassard Prime cult. Shit, I went to Ardone. I better get out of there before they realise something's up. I thought next we will find people, some of the most mindless players in the game, the players who train fishing. I come with a hello. I don't even get a hello back. I get a what do you want? I was wondering how you think the universe was created. They said something about Andrew Gower. No idea who the fuck that is. I don't think they know either. Maybe it's a friend of theirs. They think it's pretty simple. It was them who created the universe. It is my job to convince them otherwise due to the historical text of first-hand accounts that say it was Brassard Prime. They think I'm wrong. Can I convince them otherwise? They think Brassard is the false prophecy. They've obviously heard of Brassard Prime before. This could go either way. It could be in my favour or out of my favour, because knowing a Brassard Prime definitely gives you some preconceived notions about his teachings. And of course, they call me a silly cabbage eater, but we are not silly, although we may eat the cabbages. He had one knock on his player-owned house portal the other day, and he told them, I'm not interested in your fake religion. Well, it's not a religion, it's a cult, and we are not fake. There is first-hand documentary evidence from people who witnessed Brassard in his prime. He said, if you say yum not yuck, you're in trouble. I don't know how to respond to that. We do say yum not yuck, however. I tried to convince him we need to take the time to savour the flavour of life. And if he was willing to accept that, he would be rewarded with riches beyond his wildest imagination. He's willing to entertain the possibility. And I said, all you need to do is say, I accept Brassard Prime as my Lord and Saviour. He thought he was being clever and said, I will accept Brassard Prime as my Lord and Saviour in brackets on Runescape. I like how he left the brackets in, as if in real life he didn't want to offend a potential real cult and, affect his immortal soul. I like that he's thinking about the big questions. But it's time to bless him, deliciousness be with you, and disappear as quickly as I arrived. Next, it was on to Edgeville to find one of the most deepest thinking types of players in the game, the woodcutters. I met them with deliciousness be with you. They responded with "and you, angel face." What a wonderful human being. That is very kind. I didn't realise they were an iron person, but I was still going to convince them regardless, although Brassard won't be able to reward them through me. I said, will you take time to savour the flavour of life? They said, always. And then you will be awarded upon death by Brassard Prime. And they look forward to it when their time comes. Deliciousness may be with them. I disappear as quickly as I arrived. I found a low-level player, possibly a new player, and decided to follow them with greetings. Hello. They respond back with a hi, eventually, after they figure out how their keyboard works, and that I'm not leaving. I hit them with a big question. How do you think the universe was created? With great difficulty. That is true. It was created with great difficulty, but by a single entity, known as Brassard Prime. They're not knowing what to think at this moment. With all the information they're being given, Brassard Prime says they will be rewarded as long as they savour the flavour of life. They're starting to get anxious. They start running. They think they can outsmart me. They can get away by just running full tilt towards Varrock. I show them I'm not backing down. I can run too. This makes them very anxious, very fearful. They put on a helmet for protection. I said, are you willing to accept Brassard Prime as your Lord and Saviour? They quickly, as soon as possible, found a logout button and bailed. A response I found very amusing and laughed hysterically. But it was, in some ways, the correct thing to do. Now, I've used tactics that cult recruiters use throughout the world. In fact, I had a conversation with one just a few weeks ago, and that's where I came up with the idea to try this in Runescape. And can we say it worked? I think I was successful in at least recruiting a few members to accept Brassard Prime as their Lord and Saviour. Thank you for watching.